Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Commonly known as a Jedi's object movement power, telekinesis is more accurately described as a manipulation of the Force to control the direction of objects through space. Jedi utilize this talent not only to push, pull, and lift objects, but also to redirect projectiles and guide their starships through combat. Before Dooku renounced the Jedi Order and reclaimed his family title of Count, he was among the most highly regarded lightsaber instructors and made a series of recordings that demonstrated his expertise. These recordings, preserved on the Great Holocron, became required viewing for 2 generations of Padawan learners during the twilight of the Old Republic. On the Asli Crimson Holocron, one of Dooku's lesser-known recordings deal with telekinesis, and also suggests that Dooku was not always as confident as he seemed. Although Dooku ultimately turned to the dark side, a Jedi can still learn from his account of a lesson with Master Yoda. Hello, younglings. Asli Crimson has asked me to tell you about using the Force to move objects. Rather than offer specific instructions, I offer you my recollection of the day I learned that this skill was something more than a Jedi's own personal tractor beam. Unlike many Jedi, my origins were always something of a public record. My homeworld was Serenio, my family wealthy and of noble rank, and they were proud that I had been conscripted into the Jedi Order. In my youth, I believed that my fellow Jedi knew of my background and so looked upon me differently, not with sympathy, envy, admiration, or disdain, but merely differently, as if my being a Jedi was not as remarkable as my lineage. I stress that this was my perception, and mine alone. I was never treated unfairly. And yet, as a child at the Jedi Temple, there were times when I wanted to separate myself from my biological relatives. I thought that if I knew less of my origins, I would not feel as I did, as though I had a greater burden to prove myself. I did my best and pushed myself to be better, as I thought this might alleviate the weight that I felt upon my shoulders. My self-consciousness did not go unnoticed by Master Yoda. I was just over 7 years old on the day that I crossed paths with him, at a garden in the temple, a research laboratory for the Jedi Agricultural Corps. I found him on a stone path standing beside a potted long-stem plant that had broad, translucent yellow leaves. He gazed up at the delicate leaves and told me that the plant was alien, very rare, the only one of its kind on Coruscant. He said some service droids had left the plant on the path, and he wondered if I might move it onto a nearby patch of grass. I bent to pick up the ceramic pot, but before my fingers touched it, Master Yoda encouraged me to use the Force. Every Jedi learner is trained to move objects, and I had already proved some capability with this skill. I stepped back to examine the rounded shape of the pot and sensed the air around it, then allowed my mind to lock on to the pot. I attempted to visualize it rising from the path, but the pot merely shifted, scraping the surface of the stone that it continued to rest upon. Collecting myself, I focused on the pot's base, confirmed that it was not vacuum locked to the path, then pushed upward. The pot wobbled, causing the plant leaves to tremble. Using the Force, I touched the leaves and calmed them, and it was then that I felt the plant's own life energy, something a tractor beam could never do. It had been my error to think of the plant as an inanimate object, rather than something linked to the Force itself. I extended my hold and visualized the pot within a column that extended from the garden floor to the ceiling. Finding myself short of breath, I inhaled, then slowly, I lifted the pot until it hovered a full meter above the path. I guided the plant through the air and lowered it upon the grass. Although I'd meant for a soft landing, I was surprised when the pot sank a few millimeters into the ground, the base tearing the blades of grass. Master Yoda then said, "Incredibly dense alien soil that plant can only survive in. Very heavy, the pot is. Neglected to tell you this, I did." No matter, the path it blocks no longer. Then he looked me in the eye and said, "Why our paths cross today, I wonder." With some reluctance, I confided my belief that other Jedi regarded me as different because of my heritage. Master Yoda responded with great laughter. When he recovered, he said, "Aware of your family, few Jedi are. For themselves, your skills and behavior speak. Think others look at you differently, do you? Because of your posture, they might. Stand straighter than any other younglings, you do." The lesson that I learned from Master Yoda was that burdens are only as heavy as one imagines, and that, with the Force, any weight can be lifted. Join me next time as we discuss Force Leap and Burst of Speed. If you're new here to the channel, subscribe and join the Dreamwalkers on our journey. Be sure to check out the Rancor Report as we discuss what's trending in pop culture, gaming and Star Wars news, reviews, theories, and clues. I do what I love. I hope you love what I do. This has been Lore and Legends. Until next time.